What's up, friends? This is Manni, and welcome to the fairest of all the ultimate weapons, if you ask me. The ultimate version of Pulsar is one of the earliest of the ultimate weapons they brought, and at that point, the weapon was just a little better than the regular version, but it didn't completely change the way the weapon worked or cover up every single weakness that the weapon had. No, it was just a little better, maybe 25% more damage or something like this. And it doesn't even seem to particularly faster lock the enemy down than the regular version does. I even feel like on the contrary, it doesn't. But this was one of the first ultimate weapons that came into the game, and it's this one that I feel like was okay to be released, you know? I'm not sure about you guys, but I feel like ever since this one, all the other upcoming ultimate weapons have basically been so ridiculously overpowered compared to their regular counterparts that, yeah, this is the only one where I can really say it's an okay release, you know? Just look at the Orkans, for example. The regular Orkan is an absolute nightmare to run. It's like the worst garbage you could ever put on any of your robots. You're just gonna, like, if you're even hitting something because you have to pre-aim 4 seconds with your slow traveling rockets, then you're doing barely any damage, and the capacity of the weapon is pretty low, and the reload is too slow, and basically there's just no damage in this weapon anymore, you know? And this, you know, instead of just fixing this, which is the problem, an underperforming weapon, Pixonic simply decided to re-release the same weapon again and sell it to you once more, and this time in a functional state again. You know, and that is the ultimate Orkan, and this thing is performing incredibly well, you know? I'm not sure, but I feel like the rockets might travel a little faster, but in any case, you have a much higher reload speed, so you can fire a lot longer all the time, and you're not getting punished for missing a couple of rockets, and your damage output is now gone, you know? And so the ultimate version of Orkan made the weapon incredibly powerful, to the point of almost being overpowered, or probably being even overpowered. There is no comparing the two weapons. In terms of Pulsar, different, right? The regular Pulsar is still a decent weapon. It doesn't totally perform like trash. And the ultimate version just adds another 25%. So what exactly happened here with ultimate content? Why was it, like all the other features, introduced in a way where it seems okay, and then it turned out to be this insane overkill feature, you know? Like we have seen it with pretty much every feature that came into the game. Battleships, for example, came into the game being a mediocre little boost of power, a tiny bit of damage coming from space that you can launch, nothing really crazy that will disrupt the gameplay experience for your enemy, or nothing that will decide whether or not you're going to win. It was just a little more damage coming from space with a button press, and it was okay this way. It just wasn't overkill, you know? Or also the bonuses of the other battleships provided. They were okay, they were decent bonuses, you could use them, but it wasn't going to, you know, decide over win and loss. But what happened later with it, you know? And this, I think, is the same thing we're seeing here, or the same phenomenon that we're seeing here with Ultimate Pulsar, being this way of introducing a new feature in an okay seemingly way, in a seemingly okay way, and then turning out to be this completely game-breaking thing later down the line. And I believe this is the thing that Pixonic should do better with War Robots. You know, the way they're introducing new features is typically okay, you know? If they would just stay in a somewhat power similar to that, it would be, things would be way different in the game, you know? You wouldn't have these one-hit kill ultimate shock trains. You wouldn't have these titans that are literally invincible and that can bully the entire enemy team until the round ends. Or battleships instantly locking you down and applying EMP for 10 seconds and basically just completely taking you out of the battlefield. Or lasers following you across the map, literally, and disabling your robot and taking it down, you know. I could go on forever, with all these features that have been introduced in an okay way and then turned out to be so overkill later. And if you all combine these features on one account from somebody, you're just getting all of them maxed, you know, it's just a level of power that you cannot even remotely compare to with a free-to-play account. Here, the ultimate Pulsar kills fast enough. It's a fast killing weapon. It's a good damage output. It has good range, great accuracy. You know, it's an overall really well-performing weapon, but none where we have to say, wow, this weapon just instantly deletes everybody, you know? Everything you look at just immediately dies. No, you do have to connect the shots for a decent amount of time before the damage gets severe. And this is what I wish for all of those ultimate weapons, you know. Obviously, certain weapons like Vortex or Shock Train, they would hit harder when they hit because they have a long reload between. So, yeah, but does Shock Train really have to one-tap you in a 100% full robot? Or is that maybe just too much, you know, in addition to the chain? Maybe the reload could be a little faster, but the damage per hit is lower, so you have more way of reacting to the damage. You notice, okay, somebody shoots you with Shock Train, there's going to be a second shot soon, faster, and you can prevent the hit or something. But right now, you get this one hit, you're gone, right? Similar to what happens with all these weapons with a longer reload. Here I'm running this Pulsar as best as I can, try and stay alive, attract the enemies from their base with the constant firepower that comes around the mountain. Even though I was really taking a lot of serious damage right at the start of the round, even lost a weapon. But I was able to do still a lot with this, and yeah. I'm not even sure what the name of this video here is or what the point of this video is. I guess I felt the necessity to talk about ultimate items in general. I wouldn't mind if they were accessible to players, or if, and that is something I have suggested many times, if you have the regular version well leveled, let's say for example it's at least Mark II or something like this, that you would have the option to trade it in for the Mark III variant at level 1, you know? You would still have to start upgrading the whole thing from start, from Mark 1, level 1, right? And so you would have an Pixonic would have created an incentive for you to invest additional resources into leveling this weapon, because at the beginning it will be weaker than your previous Mark II regular variant. But after a bunch of upgrades, you'll soon reach a point where the Mark III, so the ultimate version would now begin to outperform your previous Mark II, for example, right? And in this spirit, I would appreciate the release of Mark III ultimate items, because it's a way for older content to become relevant again. But the way they've done it instead, trying to resell you the same item that you had already obtained before, instead of just making that very item working or putting it into working state, that just seems so shady to me, you know? And yeah, I don't think I think it's not too late. They could still do something like this. Introduce a feature in which you can trade in your your basic version of that weapon to in some way. Maybe even pump an extra 1,000 gold into it or something, like making it an incentive that works for you, but also works for Pixonic. But one where the regular versions of weapons don't, you know, die or get lost in this complete absurd uselessness, state of worthlessness that they have right now. You know what I'm getting at? I've suggested this before. Pixonic has ignored it before. They're trying to address the big whales with these ultimate items, because this is something, it's so unrealistic to get a full build of 4 ultimate shock trains, for example, for a free-to-play player. This is something only a big spender will enjoy. Somebody who really just doesn't care how much it costs is gonna get that setup no matter what, and he's gonna run that absurd power in the game and just steamroll anything that walks around on the map. This is for those people. This is the whole ultimate feature. I think was never meant to be something for the regular free-to-play player. In fact, I don't think anything Pixonic does is ever meant for the free-to-play player. It is always meant for the spender. They cater I know no company in the gaming industry that caters so exclusively to the spender than Pixonic does. There's like almost zero intention to bring the free-to-play player into a happy gameplay environment. And this is also the big problem that War Robots has, you know, losing free-to-play players and only basically relying on those big spenders. But the ultimate feature, and maybe this is what I'm closing the video with, could have been such a thing. This could have been something where the free-to-play player gets something back, where they feel like, wow, I've invested into the old Orkan and I was angry at it because the weapon was useless, but now Pixonic realized that, and they have given me an option to trade it in for something that's more up-to-date now, and that even works now. Even though I now have to start leveling it again, which ultimately also benefits Pixonic in the end, you know, this would have been a great chance to give something back for those who have been in the game for so long that they actually have this old content leveled. Who levels a regular Orkan nowadays? Nobody does that. So this would have really been something to say thank you for all those who've been there for so long, you know? I feel like this was worth a video in talking about it, but what's your thoughts on it, my friends? And see you in the next video. Manni signing off. Bye-bye.